If you do not possess a millionaire mind, you could be handed 10 fortunes and still die broke. But if you possess it, you could lose everything and still build it again. The man who earns riches by law keeps them. The man who stumbles into them by chance loses them. Which one will you be? This is not a speech for those who wish. This is for those who will. You must not only think like a millionaire, you must begin to act like one, and you must begin now. Do not listen with curiosity. Listen with commitment. If you hear this through, speak these truths aloud. Write your definite aim and obey these laws daily. Poverty will no longer belong to you. Wealth does not begin with money. It does not begin with inheritance. It does not begin with opportunity. Wealth begins with a state of mind. And unless that state of mind is fixed, trained, and directed with purpose, no amount of income, inheritance, or good fortune will keep a man from returning to the poverty he has accepted in his thoughts. If you would become a true millionaire, not a man who simply touches money, but one who commands it, you must first possess the mental pattern of riches. You must hold within you the thought of wealth so vividly, so definitively, so persistently, that your outer world has no choice but to take shape around it. The common man waits for opportunity. The millionaire creates it in his mind and calls it forth. The average man prays for luck. The man of fortune operates by law, and that law says what you think, in combination with burning desire, emotional repetition, and definite purpose, becomes your reality. A poor man with a rich mind will soon attract fortune. A rich man with a poor mind will soon lose it. This is not suggestion. It is not optimism. It is not theory. It is law. And it does not change for anyone. True riches cannot exist until they first exist in the mind. You must first become a man of wealth in your identity before you ever see a coin in your pocket. You must believe that riches are your right, that you were not born to scrape, to beg, to wander through life as a servant of wages and interest rates. You were born to think, to decide, to command. And money is simply the obedient servant of the man who understands this. Let me speak now of Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate who transformed the American industrial landscape. Carnegie did not begin as a man of wealth. He did not inherit gold. He did not stumble into fortune. What he possessed, long before a single business was built, was a mental picture of vast riches, held firmly in his imagination, burned into his mind with desire so strong it silenced doubt. That image governed every step he took, every decision he made, and every opportunity he pursued. He did not wait for permission. He did not ask for luck. He built wealth in his mind first, and by the power of that vision, material wealth came second. You must now do the same. The first tool you need is not capital. It is a definite chief aim. This is the mental blueprint of your financial future. It is not vague. It is not a hope. It is a clearly written statement of what you intend to become, what you intend to earn, and what you intend to give in return. Without this aim, you are like a ship without a rudder, drifting, carried by tide and storm. But with this aim, you become unstoppable. Write your definite chief aim. Write it today. Speak it aloud each morning and each evening. Begin to build the fortune in your thoughts. Picture it in the present tense. Speak it as if it were already yours. Do not be timid. Do not edit it for the comfort of others. Speak boldly. Declare your right to riches, not as a thief demanding what he did not earn, but as a son returning to claim his inheritance from a universe that respects law. Most men fail to become rich because they never declare it. They never fix the thought in their mind. They entertain it, then let it drift away. They wish for riches, but they do not command them. They speak of wealth as if it belonged only to others. They say, if only I had money, rather than, I am building wealth now. And so they remain servants while the men of decision rise to become masters. Do not fall into this trap. Begin today to build your financial house in the mind. Begin to repeat your definite chief aim until it becomes your only option. Let it guide your daily actions, your associations, your reading, your planning. If a thought does not support your aim, discard it. If a habit does not support your aim, replace it. If a man does not support your aim, walk alone until you find one who does. You are not a product of chance. You are not a victim of economy. You are not a beggar. You are a builder. And your building begins with the tools of thought, the tools of desire, the tools of faith. Riches respond to a definite mind, not a desperate one. If you would change your life, you must first change your pattern of thinking. Nothing more, nothing less. So say this aloud and do not whisper it. My riches begin in my mind. I command my attention. I do not hope. I decide. Speak that again. Speak it as a man who means it. Speak it until the old image of yourself breaks and falls away, until the poverty identity crumbles and is replaced by a man who walks with conviction. That man is already in you. You need only awaken him. There will be days when your outer world contradicts your vision. Ignore them. Keep building. There will be moments when doubt creeps in. Silence it with repetition. The man who holds the image, repeats the aim, and persists in the discipline of belief will outlast every obstacle. Wealth will not be able to resist him. You may say, but I have no money. That does not matter. Build the idea, and the idea will build the means. You may say, but I have failed. Then you are ready. The man who has failed but still thinks with definiteness is more powerful than the man who succeeds without direction. So I ask you now, before we go further, have you written your definite chief aim? Have you spoken it aloud today? Have you seen yourself already in possession of the riches you desire? If not, do it now. Do not wait until this speech ends. Do it now, because the mind must be seized while it is awake. And you are awake now. My riches begin in my mind. I command my attention. I do not hope, I decide. This is the beginning of power. This is the mindset of a millionaire. A man's fortune is not built by what he hears. It is built by what he accepts and repeats. The world will feed you 1,000 thoughts before the noon hour strikes. It will offer you opinions, fears, assumptions, and urgencies, none of which are designed to make you rich. If you would think and act like a true millionaire, you must first learn to choose your thoughts with precision, just as a builder selects his tools. The man who entertains every thought is like a man who builds with rotten timber. He wonders why the house collapses, unaware he allowed the material to poison the foundation. Let me be plain. The man who thinks like the masses lives like the masses, and the masses do not live richly. They live reactively. They drift from one opinion to the next, one fear to the next, one piece of gossip to the next. They do not know the law of thought, and so they are ruled by men who do. You must not be one of them. There exists a law, fixed and unchanging, known as controlled attention. This law states that whatever you fix your attention upon consistently and deliberately, your mind will build, your emotions will support, and your actions will pursue. It is the steering wheel of the mind. If you do not seize it, it will be seized by others. And the man who does not control his attention will be directed by every headline, every critic, every negative friend, and every drifting relative with an opinion about your life. And so I tell you now, you must master controlled attention. You must guard the gates of your mind with militant discipline. Let in only what brings clarity, power, and direction. Let in only the words, images, ideas, and beliefs that sharpen your aim and strengthen your persistence. And if anything comes to you that brings doubt, confusion, fear, or hesitation, reject it instantly. Do not allow it to pass through your lips. Do not repeat it. Do not give it shelter in your mind. You must also learn accurate thinking, the discipline of separating facts from opinion, truth from noise, purpose from pressure. The majority of men confuse volume for wisdom. They believe that if something is repeated often enough, it must be true. But repetition does not make something accurate. It makes it accepted. And there is a great difference. Let me give you an example. A man whose name history will never erase, Henry Ford. He was mocked, ridiculed, condemned by the experts of his time. They told him the world did not need automobiles. They said men were content with horses. They said his vision was impractical. But Ford did not listen. He did not drift. He did not borrow thoughts from the crowd. He trusted his own. He obeyed the picture in his mind and ignored the noise around him. And because of that discipline, he changed the transportation of the world and built a fortune that outlived him. No millionaire ever asked the crowd what to believe. No builder of fortune ever said, "Let me hear what the critics say before I proceed." The millionaire mind thinks independently, guided not by consensus, but by purpose. Now I will tell you what few men ever hear. You are not obligated to believe every thought that passes through your mind. Your thoughts are tools. You must decide which to keep and which to cast aside. Begin to ask of every thought, does this empower me or weaken me? Does this serve my aim or distract from it? Does this build my courage or feed my fear? And if the answer does not align with your aim, you must throw the thought out as quickly as you would throw a burning coal from your hand. The man who believes everything he hears is a slave. The man who chooses what to believe becomes a king. This is now your discipline. Refuse to allow one fearful word to dominate your mind before noon. You will begin your morning by speaking your definite chief aim aloud, not with doubt but with fire. You will affirm your purpose, not your problems. You will read truth, not opinion. And you will feed your mind only that which sharpens your belief and accelerates your action. If a man brings you bad news, you will not repeat it. If you catch yourself speaking doubt, you will correct yourself mid-sentence. If fear tries to rise in your mind, you will command it to be still, and you will answer it with action. This is how a man becomes a millionaire, not by chance, not by luck, but by law. By choosing his thoughts with the same care a banker counts his coins. Now hear this. A man's thoughts are his property, and what he allows in his mental house becomes his legacy. You are not required to share the belief system of the poor, the fearful, the hesitant. You are not required to adopt the language of small men. You are allowed to walk in power, even when others do not understand you. You are allowed to think like a millionaire long before you are called one. And so I give you your command for today. I will no longer borrow thoughts from the crowd. I choose only what builds power. I train my mind to obey my aim. Say it aloud. Say it again. Do not whisper. Let your own voice train your subconscious to stop drifting. From this moment forward, you are not merely reacting to life. You are constructing it, one thought at a time. You must now think as the millionaire thinks. Independently, deliberately, purposefully. The average man will say, "That's not realistic." And that is why he remains average. You will say, "If I can hold it in my mind, I can hold it in my hand." And that is why you are different. Controlled attention is now your weapon. Accurate thinking is your shield. Choose your thoughts. Command your mind. And riches will follow as surely as daylight follows the dawn. Poverty is not first a condition of the pocket. It is a condition of the mind. You may believe that you are poor because of your surroundings, your circumstances, or your past. But I tell you now, with the authority of law, poverty begins where fear is allowed to live, and it ends the moment you replace fear with definite thought. A man is not poor because he lacks money.